Hey, what's up, everybody? Forgot I was on, but it's just one of those things that just going to listen to. This is like a WFSO reaction. It's just like one of those things, and of course, they're talking about it today as well. That they may be they're trying to the Bucks are trying to prepare, like if Giannis says he wants to move on from Milwaukee, so they're trying to prepare for that. So rumors are that they holding like the top eight draft picks that think is that's gonna be picking the top eight to like tryouts, as you can say. So in case because I think if Giannis said he's one out, they trying to look for wherever they get a top draft pick. So probably the eight teams that got the top eight draft pick will be like in contention to get them. So I guess my opinion is like maybe they should go for a star if that's the case. But I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident that Giannis is going to stay. So it's just them just being prepared. Like if Giannis had his mindset and said like, oh no, I'm going to go. So but then again, you're going to have certain fans that's going to be really upset. Burn his jersey and also maybe something do something crazy at the Kumbo store, which I hope they don't, because I know I'm still trying to like get like something from there this summer, wherever he goes or stays. So yeah, that's one of my plans to do this summer. Get like one of the Antetokounmpo's merchandise, and yeah, he did win as a championship, and you know, could it be more? Maybe, but then again, with the front office screw up, the Chris Middleton injury, in 2022, then other stuff, that's going on, the some of the owners were you might have said the owners were willing to spend, but I guess like a certain extent. So we got like a lot of Bucks owners, and nobody's not pointing that out. They just point out the main one, Jamie Hassan, and we got other owners on here as well, like Jamie Dinan or um, Wes Emders. Hopefully I said that right. And there's some other people too. And the funny thing is that if y'all don't think about this, Giannis is actually a co-owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. So what did that say about that? So all these situations and stuff, and they're trying their best, to build around Giannis, and maybe there were some few dumb moves that they did, but it's like one of those things, who knows? But I saw this and I was just like, okay, drafting the best landing spots for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I'm going to see their opinions, and I'm just going to say what I need to say. And of course, Barrett is on the jump, like probably would make some other excuse too. But anyways, let's just watch this and just see. It's from the guys that did the one show on NBA TV, and now they just after NBA TV let them go, they end up just doing their own stuff on YouTube called No Dunks. So this is my first like time watching them on their YouTube channel. So this is gonna be new for me. So one of these wait and see. So let's see.
Let's talk a little bit about Giannis, because shortly after the Bucks were bounced in the first round for the third straight season, it was reported that Giannis is open-minded about playing elsewhere for the first time in his 12-year career. So reps from both sides, Giannis's camp and the Bucks camp, they're going to discuss their future, whether it's together or not, later this summer or in the coming weeks, I guess. But we all know nothing stops the slop from slopping. Nothing stops the slop. Put that on your back at a swimming. Actually, don't do that. So, thought it'd be fun if we drafted some potential landing spots as the Greek Freak here weighs his options. And we can speak in generalities for now. Like, I mean, you can pitch your trade, package if you want, but it's just more like the idea of like.
And yeah, just something I just want to add. Even if Giannis says he wants to leave, And I know he's probably going to have some destinations that he will want to go to, but it's not going to be in his control since he's still on the contract. It's going to be up to the Bucks and go with what's the best decision for them. I just hope the Bucks are smart enough. If they want to get some draft picks out of it, sure, but at least get like an all star or a star as well, not just getting like a whole bunch of young pieces. Like if you get like a young piece that's like an all star, then yeah, do that. Like I know people are just gonna laugh at me at this, but if the Spurs ask for for Giannis with Victor Wembanyama, yeah, you gotta get a star for a star. I don't care what anybody said because I don't think the Bucks would be that stupid just to give up Giannis. Then suddenly, oh, we just gonna get that whole bunch of picks, or we got like some young bunch of nobodies. So no, they want to be at that level, and plus, you still gotta keep like some other people happy, like Gary Trent Jr. and if you're trying to keep him, and also Kevin Porter Jr. So why not? So if he leaves, then it's gonna be like a big old rebuild, regardless, because those players would not stay. So we already gonna have players that probably gonna end up staying, like Kyle Kuzma and there's a few others too. I just can't even remember by mine. And some of the young guys that they got, like Chris Livingston, AJ Green, and all of them. But at least this coming all season, AJ Green is available for a extension. So hopefully they can do that. And plus also, the Bucks can give Giannis an extension too if they want to. So that's a big possibility. So, hopefully, oh crap, I didn't mean to unmute that. But anyways, just want to put it out there.
Where makes sense? Who has the pieces? Where would he maybe want to go and all that, right? So that's what we're doing here. It basically should be realistic enough. And the fact is, I guess all 29 teams should be in the Giannis sweepstakes. Now, whether all of them can be or of course will be is another question. But let's do it here. Drafting the best landing spots for Giannis. Let's do 3 rounds. Let's say you go first, and then we'll go back and forth and talk it out.
Do you look at a gorgeous woman and immediately you think to yourself, no, this woman is out of my league. She's unattainable.
Yeah.
All right, number 1 pick. Favorite place I would like to see Giannis other than Milwaukee, the San Antonio Spurs.
Okay, number 1 on my list as well.
Oh, how could it not be? Wemby and Giannis. Me like the coolest pop.
Sending you a message.
Okay, I'll check it in a minute.
Dr. Now's got a new show on Lifetime on May 6th.
Oh, from what that show he did like a few months ago, but just only released 1 episode. Okay.
So we're at the end of May nearly, so it should be on already.
Oh, you said May 6th?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it should be on already. So it's probably got something we gotta look for on demand. So gotta remember that one. But anyways, I don't know why people thinking, if Victor Wembanyama and Giannis Antetokounmpo, team up and stuff like that. No. You want our star, I want your star. Victor Wembanyama for Giannis and whatever other fillers you want to fill in for the Giannis trade, and you want to add somebody, we can add some people too. But no, you gotta trade a star for a star, and I don't think some people do not see that. Because I'm from the old tradition. Like you won't trade a star for a star, so you won't have to do like a big reset because you don't know how many picks you're gonna be end up getting. So I'm like no, star for a star, and I'm sorry, but I just don't think that's gonna be working. And the fans will not be happy if they end up doing something like that.
Possible front court you could put together. I don't know, maybe in NBA history. You've got one guy that's 7'5" who shoots 40% from 3. You got another guy who's 7 feet who shoots 60% from 2.
Yeah.
They're both awesome defensively. Giannis isn't quite at his defensive player of the year peak that he was in the past, but put him next to Wemby, who will eventually win some defensive player of the years when he is able to finish seasons. Interesting fit. offensively, but I mean, they would be impossible to score against. And then, of course, the Spurs have a ton of assets now that they could use to get this deal done. They've got number 2 and number 14 in this year's draft. They've got a whole bunch of young players. And for me, if the person's name isn't Victor Wembanyama, I would be fine trading him. And that even goes for De'Aaron Fox, no offense.
And I guess that goes for Castle as well, 20
Easy.
years old,
Yes.
Rookie of the Year.
Vassell, see ya. Sohan, see ya.
Keldon Johnson.
Yeah, that's a guy.
Right, yeah.
They got a lot of picks as well. They've got their own. Then they've got all their own picks. Then they've got Atlanta picks in 2026 and 2027. They've got a swap with Boston in 2028. A complicated one in 2030 with Minnesota and Dallas. And then they even have a Sacramento swap in 2031. So there are a lot of pieces that the Spurs could give that would help the Bucks instantly rebuild, right? Like they're getting other teams' drafts, and I think that's big because you would not want to bet on a Wemby Giannis team being bad. Like that's going to be a pick in the 20s eventually, you know? But maybe that Sacramento 2031 one looks really nice, and you're getting young dudes who would be helpful depending on who it is. Castle, Vassell, all those guys.
I mean, some young, talented guys for sure. If you're in Milwaukee, I like this one. This one makes sense. I love the downhill pressure that Giannis would bring to pair with Wemby. Like it's like feels like just a super athletic version of like
they gotta add Wemby
Duncan
into
Robinson
that
2.0
trade.
in San Antonio when Duncan was the younger guy and Robinson was a little bit older, but both obviously elite defenders, great offensive players. So yeah, you do this, no brainer. I'm with you. I mean, even if it's like if your team is like left being Giannis, Wemby, Fox, and then you just go and try and get as much shooting as possible.
That's not going to happen.
The roster, like you're sitting pretty, I think. So.
Is Mamu still going to be there? Former teammate.
Yeah, good point. I don't know.
I heard they're close.
They are?
Yeah, so close.
Oh.
Yeah, they're really close guys.
Okay.
They're always talking on the phone together.
Oh, on the phone. You know you're close when you're calling each other. FaceTime. Nice. Okay, so Spurs off the board. I like that one. Let me keep it going here. I'm sticking in Texas. I'm going Rockets. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why would this guy get new permanent teeth in 24 hours? Instead of placing you in temporary teeth, you get your permanent teeth in 24 hours.
Yeah, I'm going Rockets. For what it's worth, the Rockets are favorites right now on BetMGM to land Giannis if he gets traded. Plus 475. It makes sense because the Rockets have the goods to make this happen. They control their own picks. They control future picks from the Suns, Mavericks, and Nets. So like you were saying, it's like, okay, we're going to give you a bunch of our draft capital, and we'll add Giannis. And Milwaukee's like, okay, great. We're going to get a bunch of picks in like from the 20 to 30 range because you're probably going to be pretty good. But then you get all these other teams. I like that because now you're betting on a couple of these other teams for whatever reason having a bad season, falling off, stuff like that, pivoting into being bad, and those picks maybe are coming your way. So that's the same thinking. And then it would be, here's what probably happens, right, in a Giannis to Houston trade. Talking about phone calls. I assume it goes something like, yeah, we'll trade you Giannis for all these picks and all these blah, blah, blah from all these other teams you got, but we want Amen Thompson. And then Houston, I think, goes, we can't give you Amen Thompson because this guy looks legit and like a star.
Then,
so what about Jalen Green?
Amen Thompson's got to be in there, and Efforts Sinjin got to be in that too. So those two. And plus, I think the salary has got to be matching too. So you got to add them two in there. So, if they said no, then Biden them too.
Jalen Green. And I think Milwaukee goes, we don't want Jalen Green. We're not as into that. And maybe they agree on an Alperen Şengün. Sure. They meet in the middle, right? He's a great player. And I think it would be a decent, obviously, get for Milwaukee, again, if they're trading us. And then in addition, you do have Tari Eason. You do have Jabari Smith Jr. You do have Cam Whitmore, who has shown flashes. You have Reed Shepherd, who is the number 3 pick. Obviously, wasn't much of a role for him this year. So, you get a pretty good-looking deal. You have this team option still possibility with Van Vliet to make salary caps work. Mm-hmm. To make the matching salary is what I meant work. So, the Rockets, it makes sense. And we've heard, Kevin Durant sweepstakes, Devin Booker sweepstakes, whatever other superstar. You're not going to do better than the Giannis as the superstar. So if you've done it well and you've accumulated all this young talent and all these picks, that's the move you do, I think. Whether or not the Bucks want Şengün or Jalen Green, I guess.
I kind of think Jalen Green would have to be in the trade.
Okay.
From a salary standpoint, but they have so many guys that it's like if you're the Bucks, you could talk yourself, I think, into either Şengün or I think you're right. Amen would be the guy that they would want, but obviously that would be the guy Houston would want to keep as well. Though I mean, a Şengün and Giannis front court, that's pretty nice. The thing with the Rockets is they have so many good young players and also so many vets who are still around that if they trade a few young guys, the cupboard's not empty. It's not like Giannis is going to a decimated team if there's no Şengün around or if there's no Amen Thompson around. Like, there's enough pieces that they can still field a really good team, and obviously Giannis takes them to the next level.
Yeah.
So I like that one too. Those are the top two teams.
Yeah. My one pause with, I guess, keeping Şengün and obviously him not being a part of the trade is like, a lot of shooting there from your bigs and Şengün and Giannis, so you're gonna have to, like, obviously, and even Amen Thompson, if we're being, if these are your three guys, you got no shooting really in your forward spot. So that's maybe why I could see him being included. But Rockets just make sense. Again, these are just like, we're talking out potential landing spots. Okay, San Antonio, Houston off the board. Are you gonna go with the trifecta in Texas here with Dallas or?
They didn't make my list.
Okay.
I know there's ways they could do it.
Yeah, but
it's like you're trading Nico Harrison's favorite players.
No, because Dallas is not going to trade their number one pick. Yeah, but why we want to get like an older Anthony Davis or Kyrie Irving? Maybe if we would have kept most of our players like player options except for Brooke, and maybe they'll draft a center. But then again, Kyrie Irving, I think he's going to be out for like half a season. So you don't want to be end up struggling, and then suddenly, he comes back and, end up getting better and stuff. So, and Anthony Davis, he's a Chicago native and, fan of the Green Bay Packers. But at the same time, it's just like, no, because he's too injury prone as well.
To make it happen. I don't think it's going to go.
Okay.
There's another team on this list that maybe you'll take him, but I literally can't send Giannis to the Thunder. I can't do it. I hate it. So I'm switching.
I might get there later.
I'm changing up here. I'm going with the Brooklyn Nets, even though I don't like it for Giannis at all.
What?
Like, this would be going to a worse situation, I do believe, than Milwaukee is in right now. There's just not a lot of good young players to trade away from Brooklyn. It's Cam Johnson probably available, or they would want him in the trade. I think Milwaukee would. Cam Thomas, I'm not a big fan, but there are probably some people that are. Nick Claxton as well, Day'Ron Sharpe. Like, these are definitely a step down from the San Antonio, Houston young players, but they got a whole bunch of picks they can offer. Number 8, 19, 26, and 27 in this year's draft alone. Nobody wants 4 picks in the same draft, really, but who knows? You move them around, that kind of stuff. They've also got 2027 picks from New York. They got a protection one from Philadelphia. Then they've got really complicated protection draft picks available in 28, 29, and 2031, which is a year that seems made up to me at this point. Nonetheless, the Nets also do have cap space, so they can save the Bucks some money, and then also bring in some Giannis-led pieces, right? Like, figure out how to build around him. Like I'm saying, I'm not a big fan of this for Giannis specifically, but I can see maybe the Bucks being like, we love the picks that they have to offer. That's what we're going with.
Yeah, according to the New York Post, Brian Lewis, the Nets have long been amassing capital with hopes of acquiring Giannis.
Right.
And, look, you add Giannis to this team, I mean, almost it feels like any team, or at least a team that wasn't in the postseason, it feels like an automatic, like, 15 to 20 more wins.
Yeah.
If Giannis is healthy and playing for you. But, yeah, you're right about the return. The player's return is, it's sort of gross for Giannis. It's all future first-round picks, with 13 of them being tradable. What it does check, though, Giannis to the Nets is, well, does he want to play in a big market? He does.
No,
I'm sure he maybe would want to play for the Knicks, but they don't have any picks. They don't have any, they have no youth. So that's going to be obviously some more, established players going for him if that were to happen. So maybe it's out of the running. And then when you look at LA, you look at New York and LA, right? And then it's like, what are the Lakers actually going to trade for him? I mean, Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura and,
Yeah, it's basically the Mark Williams package.
Yeah.
There's a very low chance, that Lakers will be in that situation. Even if they try to offer somebody, I don't think, the Bucks will want LeBron James. So that would be a no. And the only, proven player and plus young player you want to get out of that is Luka Doncic. So, and I know they was asking for that. Dallas and was talking to Milwaukee about that earlier before they made the Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis trade. So, only person that worth picking up from the Lakers would be Luka Doncic if they trade him for Giannis. That's probably be the only thing available. And I think, like they said, that Lakers don't have that many picks.
Yeah,
Lost a couple of guys.
Yeah, I think you would need a third team to dance to make that happen. So again, you're looking at the big markets, and like you start sort of eliminating some of these teams quickly, and you get down to the Brooklyn Nets, who could, in theory, do it. But it also keeps him in the East.
Yes.
And we're hearing reports that he wants to stay in the Eastern Conference, which I mean. Sure, if you want to help your chances to win another title, which he says that's what he wants. This is the whole point of this, if leaving Milwaukee, is to give him a chance to win a second title. He will not be able to sleep at night if he retires with only one title. So, you do stay in the East.
Dirk Nowitzki retired with one title. If he can get more, then, if Giannis can get more with the same team, then that's like a legacy. So I think some of these players, they want to get out of the team that bad, but they don't think about their legacy. They just think about, rings and stuff. So you can still think about that, but actually stay in your same team, but just have like the front office work with you. So I don't know.
That's wise.
Yeah.
That's wise. So okay, Brooklyn Nets. I had them on my list too.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with a weird team for my next one.
Let's go.
What about the Detroit Pistons?
Auto insurance all seems the same until it's time to use it. With USAA, it's easy to file claims, schedule repairs, and
They made the bottom of my list.
Okay,
They absolutely did. Yeah.
Now, I do not think
Detroit.
Milwaukee.
I don't know how Detroit will even get that idea. Only thing they probably be interested in is like getting Kate Cunningham, and I don't know how many picks Detroit picked, but Detroit got, but I don't know. I don't know. This is low. It's not like a high no. Like, no, we're never going to do it. It'll just be a low no that maybe there's something there. We don't know.
Milwaukee would want to trade with like a divisional foe. It's a little strange.
Yes.
And it's going to Detroit from Milwaukee, so this is not your big city New Yorks. They're obviously big city LAs, and that's maybe a part of the Giannis equation. But the Pistons have all their first round picks in the next 7 seasons, and so they're allowed to trade 4, and then they could swap in the other ones. A lot of draft capital there. Again, though, you're like, well, Giannis is on your team, so how great are those picks going to be? I get that. But they have talented players like in Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, Ron Holland, you might believe, could blossom obviously into a player still. A contract and a guy that sort of redeemed himself a little bit this year, Tobias Harris, and then picks. It's not the sexiest thing, but I like the idea of Giannis teaming up with Cade as like your 1-2. I mean,
Yes.
Man, that is fun, right?
Nah, they will have to add Cade in there. So I'm the GM. No, you're gonna get All-Star for All-Star, and of course picks and whatever, but. No, like, I'm not going to, restart, the franchise if I don't have, certain amount of, draft picks. But yeah, some of them can, but, me, it's just a straight up no.
Right there. And maybe, obviously growing off of this season. So I think it's far-fetched. I think it's very far-fetched, but I just wanted to include the Pistons.
Yeah, I have the Pistons as my, how many teams is this? They're maybe my 9th team on the list. But they definitely made my list because, like you're saying, they've got stuff they can move that makes sense. It'd be cool to see, but I have them ranked very low for the same reason I have the Cavs ranked very low. I don't think the Bucks want to see Giannis 4 times a year for the rest of his career.
No.
That would be bad.
It would be bad. That's why, and a lot of teams in the West do have more talent, and it's he doesn't. It hurts his chances to win a title because he's going out west. I'm sorry if you're Milwaukee, you're like, okay, well, we want a better return, man. So we're sending you out west.
Yep.
But okay, I'll take the Pistons. 4th, I guess overall. Let's do one more round. Who's your final team here in the landing Giannis sweepstakes.
Do you think the Bucks are crazy about Montas Buzelis and Kobe White? Who's the homer now?
Chicago?
JK. You gotta be. I
No.
did go into the trade machine to make sure they could make it happen, but literally the only way Giannis ends up on the Bulls if he's like, I'm going to the Bulls and that's it.
Yeah.
And that would be a bad trade. So don't do it. But my official pick for my last one, I think it's more Bucks-centric, actually, than Giannis-centric. The New Orleans Pelicans. Zion, the number 7 pick in this year's draft, and Milwaukee gets their picks back in 26 and 27.
Now that's a big part of it.
Exactly. You're taking a swing on Zion. Like, hey, maybe it'll be...
Although Zion Wilson is a very good player, but I guess it's like one of those things you just gotta watch out for his injuries. But yeah, I can understand that. Oh God, not another one. Okay, they're doing something different. But anyways, so I can understand if you want to get your picks back and stuff like that. And don't do the swap, so eliminate the swap picks that you got to do. So that's whatever you can do that. Zion Williamson though, I don't know. You may have to come back to me to that, but I can understand getting the picks and stuff like that. But the trades and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just a question mark right now. So you gotta come back to me on that.
It'll be healthy. Maybe the cheese curds would be a bad mix. I don't know. But guess what? You've got the protection of we can actually tank and our team can be bad. If Zion plays 20 games, misses the last 60 of the season, who cares if you lose? Because now you've got your pick back and you can draft somebody at the top of the draft.
I love that thinking of getting your picks back. That's a big part of this. Like, you see a lot of these teams without their picks are going, holy crap. Like, now that they're at a spot where, like, oh, we're not good.
Yes.
Damn, what are we going to do now? We have no picks. We can't, get better through the draft.
Go for the play-in.
And, man, can you get your own back? And we've talked about the Suns with that and stuff. But, okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking Giannis on the Pelicans.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. It's tough to picture.
Do you like the Giannis Eves Misi pairing?
I mean, maybe Giannis on the Pelicans saves the Pelicans.
True.
Basketball in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's why I say this is more like
some buzz.
Bucks-centric. It's like DeJounte Murray coming off an injury.
Yeah.
Giannis. I guess CJ McCollum would probably still be around.
Yeah.
If that's the case. They obviously have defenders in Herb Jones. Trey Murphy's a good outside scorer.
Right. You don't think one of those guys are included in this sort of deal? That's where I was coming to.
Yeah, maybe so.
Then
You
you start
probably
going
one of either Herb or Trey.
I think so.
Alongside Zion.
Yeah. It's something. It's
Exactly.
something.
Yeah, it's a weird mix. It's a weird cosmic gumbo down there in New Orleans if he were to be the guy. But I do like it for the Bucks because they're probably not going to get a better current player than Zion at his peak, and they still got the protection of okay, if things go poorly, at least we're not screwed when they go poorly.
Yeah. I have seen a lot of hypothetical Pelicans Bucks trades with Giannis and a third team involved, which it's in rerouting maybe some of these things, which I could see as well. So I like that. All right, my final team. I'll do it. I mean, I should just wait to see what happens in Game 7 on Sunday, but I've been saying it for a while that I think the Thunder will be players in this if they flame out here.
No, they didn't.
We know they have the picks. They got 1 million picks. They can do that part of it. Why wouldn't you want to why wouldn't you want to try and pair Giannis with SGA? Two guys basically.
Although it will be a small market team for Giannis if he goes to OKC, but I think, like I said, Thunder is gonna. Well, like I said, I'm pulling for the Timberwolves, to make it to the finals. But like I said, I don't care if OKC ends up winning instead of the Timberwolves. In the East, I'd rather have the Knicks win than the Pacers. I don't know, just over the past month, the Pacers fans just getting worse and worse, especially, we beat this team, yeah, nobody can stop us. I'm just like I said, nice place to visit, Indianapolis, but some of the fan base is just, ugh. It's the same problem I had with Raptor fans at that time, and some Heat fans as well. But Yeah, because they're in the same boat, and I'm probably going to do like a situation sometime this week, maybe do something like a Bucks Heat trade or something like that. So I'm probably going to do that to one of my videos sometime this week. But I'm not going to add like Giannis to the trade, but maybe we can add somebody else, and maybe that can work. So I got a few ideas in my head with the Miami and Milwaukee trade. It's like one of those wait and see.
Basically, like in their primes,
Yes.
you just surround them with elite role players, which they still would have left over because they do have a deep team. Super smart front office. That's just a power move. I know it's not a Presti type of move, but we just always keep saying, like, when are you going to cash in all this stuff? And, like, you literally wouldn't be able to cash it in for anything better than Giannis still in his prime with a chip on his shoulder to get a second title to try and take your team led by SGA to the next level. So they could put a lot of stuff together. Now, I think the Bucks would go, yeah, okay, Chet Holmgren or J-Dub. And I think the Thunder, if they lose here, this is like obviously if they don't.
The first thought, if the Thunder asks, what to do, I'm gonna ask for Shea. So, like I said, star for a star. No, nothing against Chef Holmgren. That would be a good pickup as well. Or if they want to add him to that, go ahead, add him to that. But no, star for a star. I'm not just giving them away for players that probably be like, no offense, but unproven. So no. No. No, Giannis for Shea or Giannis for Shea and Chet. Maybe. Maybe you should do that in wherever, like, bunch of picks, they will throw in there. But yeah, I seriously, but no.
Get to the conference finals, they don't get to the finals, they don't win the whole thing. This is a big part of it. They would have to consider doing it, and I would do it in a heartbeat. Either of those guys, like that, if they don't win the title this year.
Yeah. Can't disagree.
You could get there other ways. Like if you could somehow keep all of that, wow. But like Hartenstein, Case and Wallace. Remember their last draft pick, who's never played in the NBA?
Yeah.
Nikola Topic. What do you go 10th?
Yeah. Supposed to be a top 5 guy. But
Yeah, they obviously just kept him overseas. He was injured. Wiggins, other stuff like this, multiple first rounders. So you could get there other ways, but I think it starts with a Holmgren or a J-Dub, and again, I would do either one of them for you.
Yeah, I don't think I would, but yeah, we're gonna stop it from here because, like, I can understand, the ideas, but like I said, I'm an old-fashioned guy. Like a star for a star. But I think we're in that era that I think players don't even care where they play at anymore, as long as it's in a winning situation.
Pride's
So-
gone.
Prime's gone.
The pride in playing is gone.
Oh, okay. That's what you meant.
Yeah.
Sorry. But
As in what you just said, everybody just wants to play for a winning team.
Yeah.
They don't take pride in playing for a team.
Gotcha. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah, because back then, they used to have pride for like team you were.
Look at Kobe, for example. And I'm not a Kobe fan. He stayed with the Lakers because he was proud of that team. He was proud of the things that they've done as a team. He was proud of them whether they won or lost. He didn't look to go anywhere else. He took pride in the team he was with.
Right.
Now look at LeBron. Fucking bounces around more than a hoe on a dick. He is a hoe on a dick. Shit I've heard today about.
Oh boy. But like I can see what she's saying about that. Especially, you got players, you got Steph Curry, with the Golden State Warriors and still there. And you had Tim Duncan, since he got he was in the draft in '98, I believe. Excuse me. That he stayed with the Spurs for like his whole career. No, still love it there, and I think he's like the assistant coach for the Spurs, I believe.
He's been with them so long, he's part of the furniture.
Then like you have there's like some names of players that we can talk about that that has been loyal to the teams, and like you don't have that very rare now because like players all there they want to get what's what can help them win like a championship. So like I don't know. I guess if I was like in the NBA, I would like to stay with the same team, and unless I have no control over it, and they're just like, okay, we're gonna trade you. So that's a different story. So if you got right now, you want to say you want to stay like loyal to the team, and also try to do like other options and stuff, because you never know. Bucks do got other options that they can do, like with the trades they did in the trade deadline, and I think that was the best fit that he's gonna ever have with any team. Otherwise, he's probably gonna still gonna do with the some of the same problems that the Bucks are dealing with. Like not passing enough and gold, hallbugging at times where he shouldn't. So gonna end up still with them situations. So it's probably gonna end up. Maybe it might make the team that gets traded, that get Giannis, it may make their team worse. So I don't know, but I'm on the thing that Giannis should stay, and it will make sense, especially his legacy will be on the line if he end up getting traded or one out, because you already see people already laughing at LeBron James, so I don't think he want to be in that in that category. But just saying, hopefully maybe Bucks would say something like you still the top priority of our team, and we need to do what you want us to do. We can try to do the best that we can, but from doing it from ever since it was a little bit costly, but we will still try to get it done. So that's what I'm hoping they would say. So you can check out No Dunks YouTube channel. Like I said, they used to do this one NBA TV show that they were on, and was a big fan of that. But yeah, I know they was just saying their scenarios, but it's just like right now is not the good time to look at it. So I'll at least say okay, we can if you stay, we'll give you like a big extension, and go from there. Wait until at least wait until the 2031 season where we got our or the 2030 season where we get our first round picks back in order if they don't do any minor trades. But I don't know, it's just me. So what do y'all think about this? Y'all comment below on what you think about destinations that would be good for Giannis, and make it make sense. And also please subscribe to the channel. Try and get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so hopefully we can get there. We can do like giveaways, prizes, and stuff like that in the near future if we get to that point. Also over 2,700 videos and counting. So if it's not just Milwaukee Bucks you want to watch or talk about, we do wrestling, comic book movies, and TV news, and Milwaukee development. So if you're interested in those, please subscribe to the channel. And like I said, over 2,700 videos and counting. Also check out the website, wrestlingfanspeakout.weebly.com, for upcoming events in the Midwest wrestling wise. See some photos, some Bucks games and some wrestling events and stuff. Videos like this as well, so you get a chance, check them out. Thanks to Mike and Robin Thompson and Midwest Wrestling Collectibles for the sponsorship. So anyways, gotta get out of here. Also check out Midwest Wrestling Collectibles on Facebook for like items that you might want from there. So give it a look. Until the next video, guys, you have a good one, and see you later.